I'm 77 years old, and what I learned after 2 months in a nursing home. If someone had told me that one day I would have to live in a nursing home for a long time, I would probably have laughed. All my life, I had always thought that I would be strong, free, and never need a place like that. But life is unpredictable. The days I spent there changed the way I viewed old age, life, and the things that truly matter. I used to think that a nursing home was simply a place for the elderly who needed care. But when I was there, I realized that the hardest thing was not illness or aging. It was the emotions people had to face. I met people who had been living there for many years. Some were still visited by their loved ones, while others quietly counted the days in loneliness. Through the stories, the long sleepless nights, I came to understand that life is not just about the passing years, but about how we choose to live. And today, I want to share with you the valuable lessons I have learned. Lessons that perhaps all of us need to understand before it is too late. 1. Loneliness is the greatest pain of old age. People often think that old age is only accompanied by illness, but I have realized that something even more frightening is loneliness. I have met elderly men and women sitting quietly by the window, their eyes fixed on the distant road, hoping for someone to visit. Some have been here for years without once seeing a loved one. Time passes, the world outside remains bustling, but they have been forgotten. I remember an old man who once told me that he had been very busy in his younger years, dedicating his life to work. He believed that earning a lot of money would bring happiness to his family. But as he grew older, he realized that those busy years had taken away the most important thing: time with his loved ones. His children now had their own lives, his friends had gradually passed away, leaving him alone with only old memories. I asked myself, if I could turn back time, would I spend more time with my family and friends? Would I cherish the moments with my loved ones more? Because when everything is gone, the only thing that truly remains is not wealth or success, but the relationships we have built throughout our lives. 2. Health is a priceless asset that money cannot buy. When we are young, we often take our health for granted. We stay up late, eat carelessly, and throw ourselves into work without paying attention to our bodies. Only when our health starts to fade do we realize that nothing is more valuable than it. In the nursing home, I met a man who had once been very successful. He owned multiple properties, luxury cars, and had traveled all over the world. But now he could no longer walk on his own, nor eat without assistance. He looked at me, smiled sadly, and said, "I had everything, but the only thing I want now is to be able to walk by myself." When we have our health, we have thousands of dreams. When we lose our health, we have only one dream: to regain it. I came to understand that all the wealth, fame, and success in the world are meaningless if our bodies are not strong enough to enjoy them. If I could turn back time, I would take better care of myself. I would exercise every day, eat healthily, get enough sleep, and avoid stress. Because a healthy body not only helps us live longer, but also allows us to fully enjoy life. 3. Material things become meaningless. Only memories and love remain. Throughout our lives, we work tirelessly, saving money, buying houses, acquiring cars, and filling our homes with expensive possessions. We believe these things will bring us happiness. But as I entered old age, I realized a profound truth. Everything we once owned eventually becomes meaningless. In the nursing home, I lived in a small room with just a few simple belongings. The luxury items I once cherished no longer crossed my mind. The fancy car that once made me proud no longer mattered. The expensive clothes, the sparkling jewelry, all had lost their significance. But there was one thing that remained intact within me: my memories. The moments spent with family, the warm conversations, the times of laughter shared with friends. These are the most precious treasures I carry with me in my final years. I met an elderly woman who had once been the owner of a large business. She told me, "I spent my whole life chasing wealth, but now the only thing I wish I had more of is time with my family." She could afford anything, but she could never buy back the years that had passed. 4. Freedom and independence are priceless gifts. When we are young, we rarely think about taking care of ourselves. We can go anywhere, do anything we want without a second thought. But as I entered old age, I realized that one of the most precious things in life is the ability to be independent. In the nursing home, I witnessed many people who were once strong and self-reliant, but now had to depend on others. Some could no longer walk on their own, eat without assistance, or even perform the simplest tasks like dressing themselves or drinking a glass of water without help. They didn't just lose their freedom, they felt powerless, unable to make decisions for their own lives. I remember an elderly man who had once been a brave soldier, but now he needed a nurse's help for everything. One day, he looked at me and said, "You know, I once thought that fighting on the battlefield was the hardest thing. But now I realize losing my independence is even harder. If you can still walk on your own, take care of yourself, and make your own choices, cherish that. Don't take it for granted, because one day you might find yourself wishing you could still do something as simple as tying your own shoelaces or pouring yourself a glass of water." 5. Happiness comes from simple things. Throughout our lives, we often chase after big goals: success, fame, and wealth. We believe that only when we achieve these great things will we truly be happy. But during my time in the nursing home, I came to realize a simple truth. Happiness is not something distant or grand. It exists in the small moments of everyday life. I met an 85-year-old woman who always had a bright smile on her face. When I asked, "What's your secret to always being so cheerful?" she gently replied, "Secret I have none, except for enjoying the little moments. A warm cup of tea in the morning, a gentle breeze in the afternoon, or simply a joyful conversation with someone, that's enough to make me happy." Her words made me reflect deeply. For so many years I had been searching for happiness in faraway places, not realizing that it had always been right beside me. A family meal filled with laughter, an evening watching the sunset, an unexpected call from an old friend. These seemingly simple moments are what truly give life meaning. I came to understand that the happiest people are not those who have the most, but those who appreciate what they already have. When we stop searching for happiness in grand achievements, we will see that it has always been present in the ordinary moments of each day. 6. Forgiveness is not for others, but for yourself. Over the years, I have met many people who carried old wounds in their hearts. They harbored resentment, blamed the past, and held on to pain they could never let go of. But what I realized in the nursing home was this: the longer someone held on to their grudges, the more they suffered. There was an elderly woman I often spoke with. She always seemed sorrowful. One day, she confided in me that for the past 20 years, she had never forgiven her daughter due to a misunderstanding in the past. I thought that if I stayed angry, she would understand and apologize. But as time passed, the distance between us only grew. Now I only wish I could go back and tell her that I have forgiven her. Hearing those words, I asked myself, how many of us are holding on to resentments that we could have let go of? How many times has our pride prevented us from saying the words of forgiveness? And then, as time slips away, the person is no longer there, leaving us with nothing but regret. I learned that forgiveness is not about whether others deserve it. It's about whether we deserve peace. When we let go of resentment, we don't just free others, we free ourselves from the burdens we have carried for so many years. 7. Each day is a gift. Don't let time slip away meaninglessly. During my days in the nursing home, I witnessed something that changed my perspective forever: the fragility of life. Today we may be healthy, laughing and talking, but tomorrow, no one knows what may happen. I saw people who had dinner the night before only to be gone by morning. They left behind unfinished plans, unspoken words of love. This made me realize we don't have as much time as we think. We often procrastinate, saying, "One day I'll do this," or "Someday I'll visit the people I care about," or "When I have time, I'll chase my dreams." But that one day never comes until it's too late. I met an elderly man who had always dreamed of traveling the world, but he kept postponing it, worrying about work, responsibilities, and obligations. And when he finally had the time, his health no longer allowed him to fulfill that dream. He held my hand and said, "If I could go back, I would live differently. I wouldn't wait. I would do the things I wanted to do while I still could." His words haunted me. They made me ask myself, how many times in my life have I postponed my happiness? How many moments have I let slip away, thinking there would always be more time? But the truth is, no one knows what tomorrow holds. Each day is a gift, and if we don't cherish it, one day, we will regret the things we never did, not the things we did. If what I've shared touches your heart, take a moment to reflect on your own life, and if you can, share this with the people you love, because sometimes a simple reminder can change a life. Thank you for listening. Live meaningfully.